Welcome to the Vine Resources podcast show. Welcome to another edition of the Vine Resources podcast show. I'm delighted today to have with us Heico Koch. Heico is the CEO of TradeMachines in Berlin in Germany. Thanks for joining me, Heico.
Well, thanks for having me.
Heico, I wonder if we can start with telling us a little bit about TradeMachines, the business, your role in the company and what the company does.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy to do so. Well, TradeMachines, we started 4.5 years ago, providing a meta search engine for used machinery. Very interesting market with the size of about 400 billion US dollars trading volume a year, and a market which is kind of a little bit behind in terms of digitalization compared to other markets. So very interesting to slip in that gap. So with running this meta search engine, I mean, everybody knows Trivago for hotels or Kayak for flights. And we do that for used machinery. We provide buyers for the first time some kind of a market overview, which has been very fragmented. And through that, we do provide sellers very profound leads, which makes both sides very happy. So we all used to have a market overview, even if we go to Amazon shopping for shirts and we find 50 blue shirts and we have the impression of having the market overview, and this was not available for used machinery at all.
And this marketplace is global for you?
The marketplace is completely global. I mean, used machinery business is an international business by default. There's typical sourcing countries like Western Europe, North America, and the demand side of the market is completely worldwide, internationally following, depending on the age of the machine, often the wage level of the country.
And just to clarify what you mean by machines, so what kind of machines are you talking about?
Well, it's mobile machines on one hand, like excavators or tractors, so agriculture and construction, but also production machines like woodworking machines and metalworking machines, as well as regular stuff which we find in any production like forklifts or cranes.
And as you talked about, you said that industry had been quite slow to uptake to move to a digital and an online platform, and you've done that with about 25 people in Berlin, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We're about 25 people in Berlin. We've been around for almost 5 years, and mainly we have 3 areas covering the supply side, so a business development team reaching out to the professional traders and auctioneers. The demand side, which is mainly driven by online marketing to acquire buyers, and then of course the product team, which covers all tech parts, etc. And this brings those 2 sides together.
Fantastic. And Heico, as the CEO of the company, can you share with us what a typical day in the business looks like for you?
Yeah, well, in general, I do travel quite a bit, so these days are very different. But if I have days in the office, which is maybe 50% of the time, I normally cycle or run to work, so I arrive freshly. I'm mostly amongst the first ones in the office, so I enjoy the quiet time to check the KPI, how we manage to achieve our goals. We work quite tightly on monthly and quarterly goals using OKR. I get up to date with my emails. I mean, they tend to come 24 hours a day since we're working around the globe. It's a good time to have some moments to catch up in the morning. And then my desk is basically in the sales office. So when the company kind of fills up, then I tend to spend quite some time with the people, greet, chit chat, and showing that I'm available. In the past, I did recognize that people sometimes felt like I'm too busy to ask questions, and so I really take some effort to counterweight that impression, so people know that I am available. Then I sync a lot with people, share my ideas, clients' ideas with our product department, with our people in sales. So the morning then until lunchtime is mostly filled with um, ad hoc meetings, let's say. And then in the afternoon, I do get more and more to do my own, let's say, brain work, thinking about sales strategy, about markets we want to tackle, about planning trade fair visits, thoughts about the product. So all the, let's say, more stuff where you need to have some more analytical time. And of course, I do take quite some time to have my own client interactions. One part of it is to achieve sales, but more to me, it means learning from the market and understanding where the pain points are and where the typical client is standing at, so we can adjust our service steadily. Yeah. Then I typically try to get home to see my kids before they are in bed, and after they are sleeping, I open up my laptop and then I let's say wander around online a bit, detached from really specific goals. Yeah, to learn about markets and technology. So this is when work shifts over slowly into leisure time. Yeah. So yeah.
Never easy, a lot to juggle in a day. Heiko, can you name a person who's perhaps had a tremendous impact on you as a leader, and perhaps how that person's impacted your life?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. There's not like this one person which I would admire as a role model, or like some people would say Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates. To me, it's probably more meeting a lot of people which I find interesting. And when I do meet people, I ask myself, what could I learn from them? So there's a lot of people, not only leader characters, but also others where I try to cherry pick, let's say, things which I can take for myself and improve. So there's probably dozens of people which I have learned from, and where I had moments where I would say, okay, in this typical space, it's kind of a mentor. Um, if I think about it from a little distance, it's probably always people which have achieved something and kept a very good personality. That probably sums up. So I mean, basically, if I look back, it probably started with my father, where I always had the impression he's very engaged, but it goes as far as I have a great neighbor where I discuss future developments a lot, and I admire his visionary approach about life and development. But I also admire, for example, my kung fu teacher, who I admire for his persistence. So this probably went like this all my life, and so there's a lot of characters where I think it's for me someone who impacted in terms of I could learn something from them.
You've obviously seen the company growing, and you know employee engagement is critical to the success of that growth. What have you been doing at the top at TradeMachines to keep your employees engaged?
Well, definitely the employee engagement is one of the key factors, in combination with having the right people. I think it starts with creating an atmosphere on eye height. Um, so appreciation starting with the first good morning, but also about opening yourself. So I'm a very open person, so I kind of create a relationship to all the people I work with, um, and that of course is on one hand because I'm the person I am, but also because I like to create this um, equal standing in the company. So I do believe that everybody has his purpose, and just because I'm the CEO, I don't have a higher purpose than anyone else. I just have a different set of skills and set of tasks which I do. So um, For me, the ideal environment to work in is being surrounded by people who are self-motivated and are able to take decisions. So when I do get questions, I know then that there needs to be some sparing or support. And if I don't get questions, I can relax and rely on that everything's working fine. That is the best situation for me, because then I know the topic this employee is responsible for. I can erase it from my head until I have an idea or a question arises. So that's something which I try to achieve. And I think that gives everybody a big piece of responsibility, and that also motivates the people if they are the people being willing to take responsibility. Okay, I maybe took a little detour here, but further we of course show basically all data from the company, so everybody has access to all turnover costs, client data, etc., etc. So we make sure that there's a great understanding of our goal, where we want to travel to, and that there's also an understanding if the goals are changing along the way. And we have everybody pooling in the same direction. And of course, I mean, in every startup, probably realized nowadays, we provide opportunities to switch mind from work to leisure for moments. So we have table tennis, kicker, couch area. What we do foster a lot is a cooperative approach. So we don't have silo thinking, that there's a situation, product department says about sales, oh, they did this and this. We foster a close relationship, and I think it is really established by now. So, but really, it's a lot about communication and living what we believe in. It's not like a structured program which we run through. I think it's more that.
And I know you mentioned as well that although you're based obviously in Germany, your communication language is actually in English, because you have quite a multicultural team from many countries. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, from day one, we first of all knew that we will have a problem to hire if we are only trying to find German speakers. And secondly, it was also very clear that our business is completely international, and we do need people from all kinds of for all kinds of languages, but also nationalities. So in these 25 people, I think it's 12 nationalities. From the beginning, we defined English as our company language. So there wasn't a threshold at a point in time to switch from German to English, and everything around here is in English. Yes, yeah.
Fantastic. What do you think, Heiko, is the biggest challenge facing business leaders today?
I think it has, let's say, two sides. First of all, the biggest side is, I would say, the personal side. So being challenged as a leader due to lacks of personality. So constantly trying to understand what you as a person, as a leader, are good at, and in what areas you suck, I think is really important. So you can try to decide which areas you want to grow in, or in which areas you might want or need someone to support you. And I think this is a constant process, because you have totally different issues in, let's say, the first couple of months compared to year 4 and year 5 of the company. So it's a constant reflection process, which is very important. And if you're too self-convinced and not jumping into that reflection process, I think you hit limits. So, for example, I mean, I described before that hiring a certain type of person is really important, and some people are happy about a lot of flexibility and freedom and responsibility, and others are not. So they need close management and controlling. And for myself, in the beginning, I did do quite some bad hirings where I didn't really pick for the culture, but more for the knowledge. And then I realized along the time that that doesn't fit together. I wasn't happy because I had the feeling that these wrong hires needed task lists every day, like to exaggerate a little bit. And they, on the other hand, had a feeling that there was a lack of management because they didn't have very tight task lists. So that's, for example, a mistake which I realized over the time, and we changed completely the hiring process to make up with that.
What's the best piece of business advice that you've ever received from someone?
I think it was, there was one actually which my business partner really brought to the point one day. He said, "Fear is the worst consultant for decisions." So I'm not a person who's like really driven by fear, but of course there are moments where I get this feeling of urgency, and this advice really helped me often in the meantime, just to step back for a second and think, okay, first of all, why do you have this feeling of urgency right now? Secondly, how can I maybe turn this into something positive? And then even one more step back, if I think about my general strategy, and does this, let's say, moment change anything in the long run? So not to act too quickly, but really reflect on that moment where you normally might have the feeling of instantly acting. So then I feel, for me, I can take a lot better and more sovereign decisions. Maybe an example, like if we get feedback on our product, of course I identify a lot with the product which I've created for the last years. But if a client criticize this, and then I most likely could feel this, we want to get better, we don't want to lose that client, and change something. But then when I step back and think about it in a bigger context, and suddenly it becomes input for our product team, and they do have a lot of input from a lot of clients and other corners of the company, and then it suddenly is input for of course product improvements, but the urgency is gone. So that's probably maybe an example which could outline that a little bit.
And look, I'm curious to find out about, you talked a little bit about it earlier, about some of the changes you made about the people you hired, but how do you help a new employee understand the culture of the company?
Well, I think most of it is living it and talking about it. If you look at our office, it's quite open. I mean, we do have some glass, so the rest of the company is soundproof from our salespeople, but everybody can see each other. So, for example, new employees, we make they have to drink a lot of coffee with a lot of our employees, so they talk and get to know everyone, especially the team leads. So the barriers are broken down to get in contact if there's questions afterwards. We give everybody direct access to all the information. We have a quite transparent goal definition process every quarter with objective key results, and those are then presented and measured every month in a roadmap meeting, and there's weekly stand-ups in the teams. So there's a high level of transparency from company goals down to the daily work everybody does. And but again, I think most of it is communication happening, making sure people find a great platform here to develop the business model, but also that everybody has the chance to develop themselves, and then new employees are incorporated in this culture, which is here on a daily basis.
What's the one mistake you witness leaders making more frequently than others, in your opinion, Heiko?
Well, I think if a leader takes leadership for granted and doesn't take care that he is not losing his people in terms of willingness to follow, is I think a big mistake, which I've seen a couple of times. In my point of view, leading means you should have followers, and you cannot force people to follow. So, and if you make this mistake, you can easily slip into an order and control culture, which, in my point of view, is very little creative. So you lose competency of problem solving. It's also less effective because engagement goes down. People go to work to pass hours and not to achieve things together. And so we try to do it completely differently. So we have we I think the culture and the people's feeling of success is happening when they achieve something together. So I think that's the strongest bond you can have, is common success. And this is why I think the control and order and not taking care of willingness to follow the leader is an important part. I've seen quite several times in effect, when people are not satisfied, and I think in Western Europe we have some kind of a culture of complaining, and where people find unification in complaining, and this can also be an effect if people do not identify with the company and the goals, which is very likely in an order and control environment. And at the same time, if you achieve as a leader to create room and freedom for people to improve things, there's no need to complain about stuff, because everybody knows I could change it, and I could, maybe not alone, but I am able to initiate change and bring problems and improvement ideas on the table.
I'm just curious, Heiko, how you see the industry changing now in the next few years. You talked about it was a bit of a slow change in some organisations in your industry, but how is it going to change the next few years, and how might that affect your ability to attract and hire the right talent?
Yeah, I mean, our industry is really quite behind in terms of digitalization, maybe even more than 10 years compared to some B2C areas. So the biggest change is the shift to online, to more online marketing, but even to more online transaction. A lot of people cannot imagine that machines for 100,000 euros or dollars are traded online without inspecting them on site, but that happens every day nowadays. And of course, the whole area of data-driven business is growing quickly now in our area. So that makes the industry more tech-oriented, more online marketing focused, and even more international. Concerning hiring, that on one hand makes it more interesting, because it is suddenly some kind of up-to-date, touching the areas which a lot of people are interested in, instead of just cleaning rusty machines in a warehouse and trying to find a buyer. On the other hand, this will put our industry in the need of the already scarce resources. I mean, everybody's looking for tech talent, for online marketing talent. So in the end, especially for the traders, the smaller traders, which are thousands out there, it's quite a challenge to find the right people to really convert their business from an offline business to an online business. And it's going to be a game changer, I think, and there will be winners and losers.
If you had your time again and were giving your 20-year-old self advice, looking back now, what's the one thing you might say to yourself and give yourself your own self advice on?
Ooh, that's really a hard one. I mean, I grew up in a world of hardware rather than software. The phones still had cords. There were no personal computers, etc., etc. So it would be easy to say, um, young Heiko, better jump earlier on new tech solutions. But of course, that's too easy. So if I look at the personal side and see myself 20 years ago, I would probably say be more open and learn as much as you can in all areas. Um, Looking back, I was quite focused in my educational path. I like to learn, but I could also easily exclude areas which did not seem of interest to me. For example, I would prefer a math book over a novel. I learned about engineering and neglected communication skills, believing it's all about facts and figures, etc. And this has changed over my professional life later. And I think the combination of really sneaking into other areas, communication, presentation, etc., etc. So the areas which I didn't cover by, let's say, classical education, um, really made parts of my success today that you can combine a lot of areas of knowledge. So be more open, and even if you think in the first moment might not be interesting, still listen and try to understand what's behind it would be my advice.
Heiko, thanks for that great advice. What's if people want to reach out to you and find out more about Trade Machines, connect with you? What's the best way they can do that?
Oh, they can always drop me an email. My address is hk@trademachines.com, HK like my initials. Or they could, of course, give me a call, which is +49 for Germany, 177-6324-380. And then we get in touch.
Heiko, thanks so much for joining me, and I wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.